The Guru Who Groomed You. False light always feeds off wounded seekers. You arrived with your wounds still fresh, heart cracked open, soul searching for meaning after life had stripped away your certainties. You came bearing questions too heavy for ordinary conversations and pain too raw for conventional healing. And there they were, standing in a halo of calculated radiance, speaking the exact language your fragmented spirit had been desperate to hear. "I see you," they said, and for the first time in years, you felt seen. "I can help you," they promised, and hope flickered back to life. "But first, you must surrender," they whispered, and you didn't yet understand the price. The perfect predator. The spiritual predator doesn't arrive dressed in warning signs. They come adorned in enlightenment, their language peppered with universal truths just authentic enough to bypass your discernment. They offer wisdom that resonates because it's been carefully crafted from the collective yearnings of thousands before you, those same seekers whose energy they've already consumed and discarded. Unlike the obvious charlatan, the truly dangerous guru has done their inner work just enough to weaponize it. Enough awareness to identify your wounds with precision. Enough healing language to convince you they've transcended the very human flaws they're actively exploiting. Enough spiritual concepts to create an elaborate maze where all paths lead back to their authority. Their power lies in paradox. They speak of ego death while their own ego consumes the room. They preach non-attachment while fostering your dependency. They celebrate your growth only when it aligns with their doctrine. They demand transparency from followers while shrouding themselves in strategic mystery. The grooming process. Spiritual grooming follows a predictable path that mirrors other forms of exploitation, just dressed in more ethereal clothing. 1. The divine selectio. They single you out, suggesting you have special gifts or a particular connection to source. Unlike everyone else, you truly understand their teachings. This perceived specialness separates you from potential allies while binding you more tightly to the guru. 2. Progressive boundary violations. Each surrender is framed as spiritual progress. Your intuitive discomfort is reframed as resistance or the ego fighting death. Questions become evidence you're not yet enlightened enough to understand. 3. Reality reconstructio. Gradually, your perception is rewired. Experiences are interpreted for you. Feelings are assigned meaning based on their framework. Independent thinking is subtly punished while adherence to their worldview is rewarded with belonging and approval. 4. Isolation and dependency. Former relationships are recast as low vibration or unable to support your spiritual evolution. The community around the guru becomes your primary source of connection, validation, and purpose. 5. The ultimate exploitatio. Once sufficiently groomed, you freely offer what they've been seeking all along: your energy, resources, autonomy, and devotion. The exploitation might be financial, sexual, emotional, or most commonly all three, justified through spiritual bypassing and cosmic manipulation. The warning signs you missed because you were meant to. The red flags were always there, camouflaged in spiritual justifications. Exceptional claims, special cosmic connections, unique healing abilities, or direct divine authority that conveniently can't be verified. Unearned intimacy, immediate deep connection that bypasses the natural development of genuine trust. Inconsistent standards, rules that apply to followers but not to them, justified through spiritual exceptionalism. Information control, teachings that can't be questioned or that change whenever challenged, with criticism labeled as lack of spiritual understanding. Premature surrender, requests for trust, money, or personal sacrifice before establishing legitimate credibility. Manufactured emergencies, urgent spiritual opportunities or crises that short-circuit critical thinking. Specialized language, a vocabulary that separates insiders from outsiders while making complex manipulations sound like spiritual wisdom. The aftermath of spiritual abuse. When the veil finally lifts, whether through your own awakening or their inevitable fall, the devastation is uniquely profound. Spiritual abuse doesn't just break hearts or bank accounts. It fractures your connection to the divine itself. It corrupts the very language of healing, turning sacred concepts into triggers. It leaves you questioning not just them, but your own ability to discern truth and, sometimes, the existence of truth altogether. The most insidious damage. You blame yourself for being fooled, not recognizing that your openness wasn't weakness, it was humanity meeting calculated exploitation specifically designed to target your deepest yearnings. Reclaiming your spiritual sovereignty. Recovery begins with radical honesty. Name the abuse for what it was, not a complicated spiritual relationship or imperfect teaching, but methodical exploitation of your authentic seeking. Separate universal truths from their contaminatio. The concepts they distorted remain valuable. Your spiritual journey predated them and will continue beyond them. Honor your wound as wisdom. The vulnerability that made you susceptible also makes you capable of profound compassion and genuine connection. Reclaim your discernment. The intuition they taught you to override was trying to protect you. It remains your most reliable guide. Find genuine community. Healing happens in relationship with others who understand spiritual abuse without requiring your story to match their doctrine. A final truth. The Guru who groomed you wasn't drawn to your brokenness, they were threatened by your potential. They saw in you a light they could never authentically cultivate within themselves, so they sought to control it, feed from it, and claim ownership of it instead. False light always feeds off wounded seekers because true light cannot be taken, only realized from within. And that realization remains your birthright, untouched and untarnished by those who attempted to exploit your sacred journey. The path forward isn't abandoning spirituality, but embracing a wiser, more grounded relationship with it, one where divinity and discernment walk hand in hand, and where your connection to Source requires no intermediary, with human hands outstretched for payment.